Hello and welcome back to the last Revit tutorial for beginners video. And in this video we will go through the rooms, hatches and how to use sheets. Hatches are mostly used for presenting something or highlighting something. It can be boundaries like highlighting walls, it can be a room or it can be textures on a wall. And it can also be used as for hiding things. And mostly we use hatches in architecture to make the papers be easily readable. Sheets are used as presenting the architectural views that we have created in Revit or in any other program. When we have created the views, we have to present them somehow, and mostly we have to put them on a paper, and this paper can be shown as a PDF or a image, or we can print out this paper. So you can find the rooms up here in the architecture menu, and we can see that if we are inside these walls we can place this room because it's in a closed area, and it will automatically define how big the area is in the room. Now we can change these properties, like how we want to present them. And we can also change the name of these rooms by double clicking on the text. And if we go into the properties, we can see the different kinds of ways we can change how to present these rooms. We can also move this around. If we, for example, have furniture in the room and we don't want them to intersect each other with the text and the lines, we can just simply move them around. Now we can use this for separating a room, and for example we have two rooms with no walls. We can separate these rooms by using this line, and we can do it like this. And we can rename this to kitchen. And this area will now be separate from the other area. Now we can see in the tag button that these rooms are defined as we rename them. And if you, for example, delete one of these texts, you can just go into the tag room button and click out the rooms again. In here we see that we don't have an area in this room, and not in the other room either. So if we place them here, and then if we go down here and select the area boundary, and we select these walls, It will then give you an area. We do the same down here. Now we can use these lines to define how the kitchen will look like. For example, we can see here in the properties that we have different kinds of regions. And we can select this and press OK. And this is how we use hatches in this program. Now you can change how these hatches looks like in the properties menu. And you can also move this around like this. And this is just simply to show that there's a kitchen in this area. It's a little bit more presentable on the paper. Now we can change to one that we like. Now if you want to see how the patterns look like, you can go into the properties, and in here you can see all the different hatches that are in your program. If you don't have any, then you have to download some and load them and insert them to the program. Now the way we use hatches in architecture is to define what areas, for example, are in use or not in use. We can also use them as for highlighting things, or to make some papers look more readable. Now I'm going to show you how to create a sheet. If we go into the view menu, we can see that there is a button here called sheets or sheet. And inside here we see all the templates, and we can create a template just by selecting one. And then inside here we can also rename it. Now we see down here in the menu that we have two different kinds of sheets, and these sheets are used for printing later on when we have inserted the different views into these sheets. Now, how to insert them into the sheet? You simply click on this button here, and you can see all of the views that you have created so far. And if we select, for example, the floor plan level 1, and then insert, add it to the sheet, it will look like this. And we can of course change the appearance of this. For example, we can take away this text here if we want to, and we can also change the scale of the floor plan to make it look bigger on the different kinds of sheets that you are using. If we don't want to show this in our sheet, then we have to actually unshow it or hide it. Then we actually have to hide it in the floor plan. It will still look like this, and we have to hide this framing as well. By clicking on this button, you don't see it in the floor plan, and you don't see it inside the sheet either. Now if we want to take away this text down here, we can then go into the properties and select it to not show, or we can just press delete. We can also hide it from the view. Just like in any program, there's different kinds of doing things, and there can be several ways to make the same thing. Now, usually I would take away these texts and use another text, a manual text that I decide, for example, what font it should use, and also the size of the text. If we go back to level 1 floor plan and down to the left, we see what kind of scale that the plan has. And we can change this to 150 or whatever scale that you want to present it in. And we can later go into the sheets, and the scale will then be automatically transferred. And like I said before, we can go into the properties and take away the text down below, and we can also do this in several kinds of ways. We can see in this label here that we can fill in some additional information about this paper and what kinds of views it should presented, and who is working on it. You can also see timestamps and what scale it uses. You can also write in who made it. Now we can add another view into this one, like this, and we can move this a little bit to the right. Now we see that this is in another scale, probably 1 to 100. And this is the view with all the measurements. Thank you for watching this last video. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and also give this video a like.